Right. So this week we are going to be talking all about valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. So to write that down, make sure everybody knows this is valence shell. And you should remember valence shell, right? The valence is that outermost level, and shell is just another name for level. Electron, you know what an electron is, and pair, because electrons we see in nature are often usually paired up. And you saw that in Lewis bond diagrams, right? A bond is two electrons. And we're often putting two dots on each side. Repulsion. It should not surprise you at all that electrons repulse one another, right? They are similarly charged, and things that have the same charge tend to repulse one another. So it's pretty easy to see. Valence shell electron pair repulsion theory is just kind of a theory that makes sense. What we're going to do is we're going to take those two-dimensional Lewis diagrams that we drew, and we're going to make them reality. We're going to make them three-dimensional drawings. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to represent our central atoms. Whenever we draw this, our central atom, I am going to draw it, and I am going to shade it in. So if you have a marker or something like that and you want to shade yours in with a marker, you can do that. I have an ink pen here, and I'm going to use some shading, just this beautiful shading technique. Oh, in another life, perhaps I could have been an art teacher. And then we're going to draw bonds like this. Bonds like this. And then we're going to draw our non-central atoms, or our surrounding atoms, as an unshaded atom. All right, so we've got our central atoms, we've got our surrounding atom, we've got our bonds, and let's not forget electrons. So we're also going to have, sometimes we're going to have electrons that aren't shared, all right? And these are called unshared pairs, or you will often hear me refer to them in the colloquial as USP, unshared pairs of electrons. And they're unshared pairs, right, because here these electrons are just on the central atom. They are not shared with the surrounding atoms. They do not form bonds around that central atom. We don't really care about electrons on the central atom. No electrons on central atoms. We don't really worry about those because they're not going to contribute to the shape of this. They will get to be important later on, and we'll talk about that when we start talking about polarity, which we're probably going to start on tomorrow. But we don't have to worry about those right now. So when we're talking about VSEPR theory, we're just going to stick to the electrons only on the central atom. So only the electrons on the central atom are going to contribute to the shape of the molecule, so they're the only ones that we need to worry about. I should say this, no electrons on the central atom. There might be electrons there, but we just don't draw them. Right, so it's sort of drawn in there, right? We'll worry about those electrons at a different time. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a chart of the VSEPR theory, but we'll do that in class tomorrow.